Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, Christopher works as a buyer in a factory. He is in charge of purchasing the plastic film to protect the pallets. The supplier sent him this quote. Write an equation that represents C, the amount charged for purchasing, P, number of packages. Okay, so what is it that I'm supposed to be looking for? Well, I want to write an equation, right? And the way that they want me to write an equation, let's pay attention to this. It's by using C, which is the total amount that they charge, and by using P, which is the number of packages, okay? So we can pretty much use X and Y. Let's just not forget that at the end, we got to change that for C and P. So in order for us not to forget that or not to get confused, what about if we write down on the table that is given to us, the C and the P, right? So P is going to be my X, and I'm going to write down P right here, okay? And the amount charged is C, and that will be my Y values, okay? So if I need to write an equation, okay, then I need to find the slope and Y-intercept, okay? And to find the slope, I am going to use this formula, which is a slope of a line that hopefully we have used before and we're familiar with, okay? So let's see what we're going to write down. I need to choose 2 points from here, right? Since the points are on my table, I do not need to write them again, okay? I'm just going to write labels here. So the first point for me is going to be the 2, and the Y's of 1 will be 110, okay? Then I'm going to choose the second point right below that one. Of course, you can choose any points that you want, okay? I'm choosing the first 2, which is perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and replace those numbers on my formula. So I'm going to write down 202 minus 110, because remember, those are my Y values. And then my X values are going to be 4 minus 2. Okay? Let's go ahead and subtract, and I am going to get 92 over 2. Notice how that's not simplified, because if I actually divide, I will get 46. So 46 will represent my what? My slope. Very good. If you want to write down the word slope, it's up to you. But we all know that M is a slope. Okay? Any questions so far? Let's go to the next. So once I have the slope, then I need to find the Y-intercept. Okay? And in order for me to find the Y-intercept, I can actually use the formula, which I have right here. And it's the formula in a slope-intercept form. So in order for me to use that formula, I need to choose a point from the table. And the point that I'm going to choose is 10 and 478, where 10 is X and 478 is Y. Now, if you want to, you can start thinking already about who's going to be P and who's going to be C. So we can write it down right below that. So X is also the packages, and Y is the total cost, which is C. Okay? We're still using X and Y because the equation has X and Y so that we don't get confused. But we can already start writing the P for packages and C for the total cost. Let's go ahead and replace the values here. So my Y, it's 478. Okay? My M is the slope, which is 46. My X, it's 10. And I'm going to write down plus B. Okay? If you want to, we can go up here on the equation and replace Y with a C. And we can replace X with a P. Just so that when I finish it up, I can just go back and write down my new letters, right? Or variables. So I'm going to continue. So I have 478. And 46 times 10 is 460 plus B. I need to leave B by itself. So let's go ahead and subtract 460 on both sides. Remember, on equations, whatever you do on one side, do it to the other side. My 460 cancels out, and I get b by itself equals to 478 minus 460 is 18. So we found the y-intercept, right, which is 18. So now we can use all of that to write down my equation, right? So I'm going to write down over here y equals mx plus b. Okay, now if you want to, we can already change the y and the x for the p and the c, which we are going to still need, right? So we said that the y is c, m is equals to 46, and x, well, we don't need to write down parentheses, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and change that. So we can go ahead and write down 46 instead of x. I can write down p plus b, right? Okay, so we replace m already, which is my slope, but notice how I can still replace my y-intercept, right? Because b is the y-intercept. Okay, so I'm gonna write down plus b over here. So we can replace the y-intercept as well, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and finish our equation. So I'm gonna write down c equals 46 is the slope, p is the packages, right? Plus my b is 18, so I'm gonna write down plus 18. So this will be my final equation, right? C equals 46, p plus 18. Okay, so notice how most of the time I work with x and y. I just replace it a little bit towards the end just to help me not to get confused. So this is the process that you do. You first need to find the slope, which is right here. Then I needed to find the y-intercept, right? This is my y-intercept. I know I didn't write the labels earlier, but we know b is y-intercept, okay? So another thing that we could have done, and I don't know if anybody thought about that, is actually finding the rate of change, which is the change of the y over the change of the x. Do you remember how to do that? Well, basically, I'm trying to find out how do I go from 110 to 202. Is that right? Am I adding or subtracting? I'm adding, right? So I'm going to add 92. And if you're not sure how I got 92, all you got to do is subtract 202 minus 110. Now go ahead and subtract 294 minus 202, and we still get plus 92 and 92. And the reason why I say plus is because think about it. To go from 1 to the largest numbers that is coming up, you need to add up. So all the time I get plus 92. So the change of the y is actually 92. What about the change on the x? Well, my question is, how do I go from 2 to 4? I know what you're thinking, Miss. It could either be multiplied by 2 or adding 2. Well, if you multiply by 2, can you multiply 4 times 2 to get a 6? No, right? But you can sure add 2 to get to a 6. So a plus 2 is 10. So I can see the change of the x as a 2. Okay? I want you to see this number that I got here, and I want you to pay attention to the one that we got here. What do you see? It's exactly the same, right? Yes, because remember, slope and rate of change is exactly the same. And if I simplify 92, okay, over 2 is like dividing this by 2, right? And I will get 46 over 1, which is the same as 46, right? So this is my slope or rate of change. Either one, right? Rate of change or slope. And I'll write down the slope first over here. Okay? So I got the same thing, 46. Okay? What about the y-intercept? Miss, I don't want to do more stuff because it gets complicated. No, no, no. Look what we're going to do. Notice how to go from 2 to 4, I was adding. From 4 to 6, I'm adding. But if I am at 8 and I want to go to 6, don't I need to take away? So it's like if I want to go down, right? If I want to go to the next larger number, I need to add. But if I want to go to the previous number, I need to subtract. So I am going to take away or subtract 2 minus 2. And 2 minus 2 is what? 0. And I'm going to write it down over here. Okay? What about on the Y values, on the C, right? Which is the total cost. Instead of adding 92, I am going to subtract 92 to see what I get. So this is like saying 110 minus 92. And guess what? You get 18. And let's see if you remember something about 0 and 18. If you get an ordered pair where x is 0, then this is your Y-intercept. Is that right? So I got the Y-intercept. And I know some of you might be thinking, Miss, I like the top better than the bottom because the top is like just either adding, subtracting, and I can do that faster than the other one. And I understand that. The one on the bottom is more the algebraic reasoning, the algebraic point of view. And the top is more like maybe like, what is it, like 7th grade, finding patterns and things like that. But either way, look at how I got 46 and 18 on both, right? And I could use those to replace them on my equation, which is the way that we did it earlier over here. Y equals mx plus b. And the m would be a 46, and the b would be an 18. And that equation is the same thing that I got earlier as my answer. Right there and over here on the other side. Okay, awesome.